What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dreamer Scott Vintage Podcast and Radio Show. Coming to you real quick on this Wednesday. Before I hop into my own workout here. Sometimes I'm like you. There's certain things I dread going into the gym and actually doing, whether I be maybe I'm tired, I'm run down, I got a lot of work stuff to do, and so this is kind of like my pre-workout. Sometimes actually hopping on the podcast and talking to you gets me into a different state, gets me jacked up so I can go in the gym and just crush it here, and then give you guys something to kind of ride to on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and everything else. So, also this podcast, we're filming this episode for the YouTube channel. So if you guys want to watch me spit it directly into the camera talking to you, you have the option over there. And really fast, if you guys ever find yourself, you're not super jacked to go train, whatever you have to do, if it's watch a video, listen to a quote, listen to me ramble on the podcast, watch us on Instagram and Facebook or something, whatever your switch is to get you turned on, then go do that. It might be a song, it could be anything at all, but just sometimes getting your body into a different state makes a world of difference. Or oftentimes what I'll do if I'm really dragging ass, I'll pop on a basic machine just to get my heart rate moving. If it's a ski or the row or the assault bike, something really simple and basic just sometimes put me into a different state. I get a sweat going, my heart rate's up, and once my CNS, like my nervous system is on, I'm just jacked to go, get shit done. And then oftentimes, even if I'm dragging ass for the first couple minutes of the workout, sometimes it does feel better, once I'm a couple minutes in and I can just really start crushing things. So, little tip for you. So with that said, we're getting close to Christmas here. If you guys celebrate that or any holiday season right around there, and I know it's a different time of year. It should be a time where you guys are, I don't want to say slowing down. A lot of corporate people I know do. For me, honestly, it's a time where I can really ramp things up and kind of get a lot of things done, build a shit ton of momentum for 2019. I actually end up working more in this little gap. And then obviously when friends and family come around, I get up early, I do all my shit before they are even awake. And then I can kind of spend some time with them as we kind of, roll through and live my life. And if you're in that moment right now, just hopefully you're going to take this time to stop or, at least build the momentum, but reflect and be present where you're at and be mindful of the people around you and the opportunities that you have with them, especially if you're like me, because at this point in my life, I'm busy with work and travel and things. And so I don't get as much time to spend with friends and family and do things. So when I'm there, I'm actually mindful of the moments and I'm actually there and I'm present. And so obviously this is a season of, getting presents and giving presents. And the best one I can give people is being present for them and give them my time. And so what I mean is when I work, I work. I'm here, I'm training, I'm coaching, we're making videos and the content, and we're doing all this stuff for you guys and our coaching groups and everything that we have to get done for the new year. But when I'm with people, I'm there. I'm not just on my phone scrolling through social media, looking at everybody else's fucking life and what they're doing. I'm actually with the people I'm with. Now, I'm not knocking you guys who do that. But if you're not around your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, a lot of family members and things, and you spend 3 hours with them, but 2.5 hours is looking at your phone, did you really spend quality time with them? So that's just my takeaway for that. So, and again, this time of year should be a time where you guys are happy and, you're celebrating, you're rejoicing, you're doing things, you're getting geared up for, again, another new year if that's how you roll. And that's what I'm going to talk about on today's podcast. Just a super quick rant about getting happy, being happy, and staying happy. And to me, how I measure success is by a few different metrics, but probably the biggest one is how happy am I every single day in my personal life and my professional life. And if I'm waking up, so many days in a row and I'm not happy and I'm not jacked and I'm not excited, I know I have to fucking change something and do something different, because going through your life not enjoying most of the time and not being, generally jacked and excited to live your life is a terrible way to live it. You're just going through the motions, counting down the days till you're dead. And I'm like, I don't see the point of that. And this is not me, doing another quit your job and do this or do this, but understanding to me the ROI of your time, the biggest return on investment of your time can be, did this bring me closer to my goals? Did this help me grow as a person? Did this make me happy? I think that's how I'm measuring success. It's not about just, dollars and numbers and metrics, and all those things are important to run a business. We run businesses here. It's like we have P&L sheets and we have ins and outs and what we're doing and how we leverage money and how profitable we can be. But I have to be happy doing it, because if I just hate this shit, I can do that doing anything. I could make a lot more money doing a bunch of financial bullshit and different things if it was just, dollars and cents. But I want to be happy and enjoy my life. And I want the same for you guys. So if you're listening to this or you're watching on the YouTube right now, hopefully this is going to strike something in you to make you just really appreciate all the shit that you have. You have perspective on your life. you have gratitude for all the things that you do have, and you're focusing on the 1,000 awesome things in your life, not the 3 or 4 things that aren't great in your life. And in the macro, I want you guys to be generally happy and excited for every single day. And there's always going to be shit, man. From the richest to the poorest, to the most genetically gifted of us, we're always going to have to deal with problems. Every single one of us is going to have micro problems. But if you could really see the scope of the world, and I've talked about this before, if we all throw our problems in a pile and you could see everybody else's shit, you'd probably run back in and grab yours pretty quick, because in most of our problems pale in comparison to people around the world. And I'll dive into that today in the podcast. So I'll kick off with a quote you guys have heard me say before, and I'll say it again. Happiness is only real when shared. And that's Christopher McCandless. And I think around the holidays, you guys, it should be every single day. But if nothing else, if you get some free time and you can drill down on that during the holiday season, I for surely would. So happiness, like most things in life, you guys, is a choice. I believe that. And sometimes we get jaded and lost in the small bullshit problems of life, and we fail to see the big picture. And around the holidays, I know with family, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. I know a lot of you have a different family dynamic, just like I do. And just understand that, like, focus on the stuff that matters, not the little shit that doesn't matter. It's not about gifts. It's not about who got what and who said this and who said that. It's about the big picture of spending time with those people who give a shit about you and that you give a shit about. And I believe that. And obviously, you guys know I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and in my opinion, probably the greatest city in America, or one of them for sure. I love the weather; it's beautiful. The people, the restaurants, the sports, nightlife, shopping, you name it, it's all amazing. And we can, jump in my pool. I can jump in my pool at 10 in the morning, and I can drive my car 2 hours and go snowboarding the same day. I mean, that's the dynamics of living here and what we're around. It's a pretty amazing landscape and a pretty awesome place. And I say that because sometimes living in a place like this, people forget how good they truly have it. Because we get spoiled. We do. We're really fucking fancy now in 2018, almost 2019. And we forget that, so many people in the world have it much, much worse than we do. And most of our problems are laughable. Like I said earlier, when you think of the big picture of life and where we rank about there's almost 8 billion people in the world, give or take. And where we rank in that 8 billion is pretty fucking high. Even if you guys think you have it bad and your life sucks shit, the fact that you're listening to this, probably on a $1,500 phone or a $500 iPad, and driving in your car or in, the confines of your own home, which is nicer than most people's in the world, your life rocks. And I think a lot of people have forgotten how good they have it. And then people have forgotten how to get happy and how to be happy and how to stay happy with minimal things, because we focus on, again, I think the wrong stuff at times. And again, I want to say this before I go into this. I'm not against stuff, you guys. If you've worked and you've hustled and you want to drive a fucking Benz and a Range Rover, then fucking drive the shit out of it, dude. It's super cool. Like, I'm not against it. But just ask yourself why you're driving it and why you're doing it. And this is not a knock at anybody who has a fancy sports car. I'm just not a car guy. And again, there's not to say like that might be some day where I drive something super fancy if I become old as shit and that becomes my thing. But why are you doing it? What is it really bringing you? And again, if you're a car person, sure. But to me, whether I'm driving a Honda or a Camry or a Benz or a Beamer, it's just an emblem. It's just a symbol. Now, if that symbol means something to me personally, then cool. But I think a lot of times people are doing it to impress other people, or so other people think they're cool. And it ultimately isn't bringing them happiness. It's bringing them more pain to drive that thing because they're working at a job that they don't fucking like, to pay for this thing that's going to impress people that really don't fucking matter. And I know that sounds kind of backwards and crazy, but people do that every single day. And I'm not telling you guys don't chase fancy cars and fancy trips and nice clothes and nice homes and get all the stuff you want. But if you're not getting it, or you don't have it, or the pursuit of those things aren't fun, so meaning the journey of it, the work to get the stuff, isn't making you happy, don't do it anymore. And I want to share this quote with you because you have to understand how lucky and blessed you already are with all the material things. And I say this around Christmas time because sometimes we get focused on, giving presents and getting presents and what it is, and that's not what this is about. And let me read this quote with you. And I heard this years ago, and it stuck with me ever since. And it really put things in perspective for me because I was once a young dude, And I would tell my dad, like, man, I'm going to drive a Benz one day and blah, 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 and all the material shit. And when I got into it, and when I really got into this craft and this life, and I found what I was good at in my calling, I love the game of it. I love the actual doing. I love the saving of money. I love the earning of money. I love the creating of helping people. I actually love the coaching. I love creating the products. I love doing the workouts. I like creating the videos. I like doing the podcast. I'm not saying I don't like the monetary shit that comes on the back end of it, but I like all the middle stuff way fucking more than I like the end stuff. And it wasn't until I became older and I got immersed in the process of it that I really could feel it. And the quote that I read back then was this. And I quote, "If you have food in your fridge, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head, and a place to sleep, you are richer than 74% of the world." I'm going to say that again because this is real, you guys. If you have food in your fridge, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head, and a place to sleep, you are richer than 74% of the world. Mind-blowing, I know, right? The next one, and I quote, "If you have money in the bank, money in your wallet, and some spare change, you are among the top 8% of the world's wealthy." I need to read that again because you guys need to hear this. If you have money in the bank, money in your wallet, and some spare change, you are among the top 8% of the world's wealthy. And again, we get lost in like, we don't get the newest phone or the newest car or the freshest clothes, or I can't buy, some guy came in and his kid was like, he wanted a Supreme t-shirt. I'm old as fuck, you guys. I don't even know what that is. He wanted a Supreme t-shirt. And he's like, this kid wants a Supreme t-shirt. It's $120 for a fucking t-shirt. Now I'm old and I don't get fashion and I'm not the most fashionable guy. My wife brags on me all the time because I don't understand stuff. But the fact that we are like literally worried about wearing, and I looked at the other stuff. They had like shoes for like $500, backpacks for like $300. It was fucking crazy to me. The fact that that's what we're focusing on, and that's what's going to either make us happy or unhappy, or think that somehow that would make us fulfilled, when the real void is the big things in life, literally blows my mind. I'm going to continue this quote here, you guys, just so you get the gist of it. And I quote, "If you woke up this morning with more health than illness, you are more blessed than the million people who will not survive this week." I'll say that again too. If you woke up this morning with more health than illness, you are more blessed than the million people who will not survive this week. It's crazy to me, right? And then this one, you guys. If you have never experienced the danger of battle, the agony of imprisonment or torture, and the horrible pains of starvation, you are luckier than the 5 million people alive and suffering from that today. If you've never experienced danger of battle, the agony of imprisonment or torture, and the horrible pains of starvation, you are luckier than the 500 million people alive and suffering today. And the last one. If you guys go on the blog and you read this applies, even if you're listening to it right now, I think it's probably fair. If you can read this message, so like if I transcribe this for you guys, if you can read this message, you are more fortunate than the 3 billion people in the world who cannot read at all. Insane to me. Now, I can promise everybody listening to this, you have food in the fridge, you have clothes on your back, you have a roof over your head, and you have a place to sleep. Boom. Top 74% of the richest people in the world. Your life is fucking awesome. If you don't know that already, I'm telling you. Again, if you have some money in the bank, in your wallet, and spare change, you're among the top 8% of the world's wealthy. If you're listening to this on iTunes, and you have a phone, or a tablet, or a computer, I can almost promise you guys you fall into that category as well. Boom, top 8%. Your life is fucking awesome. The other stuff, I'm sure most of you can read as well. That already puts you above 3 billion people who cannot read and don't have the access to it. So sometimes when I start thinking about my life, you guys, and my problems, or how unhappy I am, or why I'm not at this station, or why I don't have this, or why I don't have that yet, I slow myself the fuck down. And I have true gratitude. And I understand how blessed I am to have this brain, to have this body, to have this life, to be born in this era, to have the internet and all the cool shit that we have. And if I don't like my life, I can get on my phone and fucking change it. If I don't know something, I can learn something. I have access to Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Google and all the amazing links and sites where I can connect with almost anybody at any time. It's amazing. I pull this quote out and I read it as a reminder. When I'm having what I like to call a little bitch moment and acting like an asshole, like that somehow I have it so rough, I don't. My life is amazing, and it's a gift. And again, I have shit just like you guys do. My upbringing wasn't perfect. My life right now isn't perfect. But it's pretty fucking sweet. It's pretty awesome. And it's not a comparison thing, but you have to really understand how amazing the miracle of life is. And the fact that you can read, you can write, you can hear, you can speak, you can run, you can jump, you can talk, you can laugh, you can cry, you can love, you can listen to Tupac, you can fucking deadlift. You can do all these amazing things. But yet you're focusing on the 5 or 6 things that you don't have and the 2 or 3 things that you can't do or that aren't quote unquote perfect in your life. And that's the game, you guys. Nobody's fucking perfect. We all got shit, and that's okay. But you have to take a good look at your life and your family and your friends and all the people who matter to you and all the people that you matter to, for that matter. And you have to really dig down, and you have to look at your life of what you really do have and all the blessings and all the gifts and all the miracles that you're even here as a human being on the earth, and of the 8 billion people, give or take, where you truly rank, especially if you can hear this. And you have to understand what really makes you happy, like true happiness, not the habituation of material shit. And that stuff's fine too, because getting a new car, I'm sure, does make people happy. I've never had one, so I don't know. Or taking a fancy trip, or moving into a new house, or paying off debt. Those are all amazing milestones that we should get joy from and should make us happy, because they give us a sense of accomplishment and a sense of working towards a goal. And I'm all for that stuff. But the real happiness, sharing the experiences, sharing the joy, sharing the love, sharing the happiness with those people who matter to us most. And if you guys can really focus on all the stuff that you do have, and again, starting from the most minimalist shit, and maybe it helps me because I grew up with not a lot of money and not a lot of resources, and we never took family trips, and we never took vacations, and I worked my fucking ass off 100 hours a week for probably about 7 years before I even left the country. And shit, I didn't even live in America, you guys, until I was 30 years old plus. And that was the first time I ever took an international trip. I was over 30. I didn't have the resources, and we didn't have the stuff, and it took me a long time to get to that place. And with all that said, that's not what made me happy. That's not what made me enlightened. It was stepping back and understanding, like, wow, man, I really do have a gift. I really do have an amazing life, and I really do have awesome people around me who support me and give a shit about me and care what I do. And if you guys step back from your life and don't get lost in the rat race, don't get lost in the hustle for things that really don't matter, you're really going to see that you've been happy all along. But sometimes you just need a reminder of how truly badass your life really is. And if this, podcast can be that reminder, especially around the holidays, then I hope it is. Regardless of where you're at right now, if you had a shitty quarter at your job selling stuff, or maybe you're down in your luck, or 2 or 3 things went wrong, or you're dealing with some real shit, just know that happiness is a choice, you guys. And most of you have so much more than you even realize. And I can forget about it too at times and get lost in the moment of shit, but I snap back out of it really quick and understand perspective is real and gratitude is real. And let me leave you with this before I get you guys out of here, because I could ramble on this stuff about all day. It's a Roy Goodman quote, and it's one that, I heard a long time ago as well. And the quote is, remember that happiness is a way to travel. It's not a destination. I'll repeat it one more time. Remember that happiness is a way to travel. It's not a destination. And I believe that to be 100% true. You have to be happy with your life every single day and appreciate it for even the small miracles, even when you don't think they are. And if you can focus on the micro miracles and not the macro shit that you don't have, like the big picture stuff that you think is the big deals, you guys will be happy every single day. And to me, that's the only way to live your life. So hopefully this helps you guys. Again, I could talk about this stuff all day, and I'll continue talking about it on the podcast forever, even if I rehash it 9 different ways or 7 different times. It's just nice for us to hear, especially when we're going through some rougher shit, or when we just get lost in, focusing on the things that aren't high return, activities. So take it for what it's worth. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you dig it, share it with somebody you think can help, especially around the holidays, because our life is a gift and we have to treat it as such. So if you're on iTunes right now, stop. Don't be a lazy ass. Drop us a 5-star, leave a comment. Love to hear it. And again, if you guys want to hear anything else in the podcast, whether it be, nutrition specific, fitness specific, mindset stuff, getting shit done, whatever you want to do. Any of my personal stories, I'm happy to share them with you. The more stuff you shoot to me, the more I'm happy to record and put on here to get you guys fired up and just kicking ass and rocking and rolling through life. Because I know even for me, sometimes it takes me reading a quote or hearing somebody say something or hearing somebody else's story of where they're at or what they're going through to give my own self a kick in the ass to get me motivated and rocking. So until next time, you guys, eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. And remember, get happy, be happy, and stay happy because happiness is a choice like most things in your life. You can focus and choose to dwell on all the shit that you don't have, or you can choose to focus and be happy for all the shit and amazing miracles and gifts and blessings you do have. So take it with you, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.